in the early years of our marriage, to me it was, I remember being sort of scared to start with because I knew I had to provide for her. It was different because I had to remember that it was me and her and not just me. And, it was always me before that. And it was scary, but we were so young, and we were outgoing and all of that. So I guess that sort of took my mind off of it. But because we were so young, you hear these people say all the time, y'all were just babes. We were, but we were lucky that we came. Our families, my family and her family, were good families, and they helped us when we struggled. And if we ever struggled, they were there for us. And we had two grandmothers that were real strong believers and had strong faith, and they prayed for us. They never told me this, but I know they did. They prayed for us every day, and I think it was because we didn't go down the right roads all the time. I think that prayer guided us back and guided us because we've been blessed. In our latter years, once we really, we struggled financially for a while. We didn't have no way, I didn't see how, and I had a good job, a good paying job, and I didn't, and it's because we wanted worldly things. We wanted to keep up with the Joneses. The Joneses are not going to get you where you need to be. So I've come to realize that worldly things, it don't matter. God allows us to have them to start with because they're His. To start with, He lets us use them. I thank Him every day for letting me use what He's given us. But that's not going. We're not taking it with us. And when you come to realize that we're not taking that with us, and it doesn't matter about the Joneses, that the most important thing is that where your faith is. But when we started doing that, and we weren't tithing, I'm ashamed to say it, but I'm being honest, and it's a testimony that I know when we started tithing, like Sheila said, you didn't see how it could happen, but it happened, and all of a sudden it was just like I hadn't worked any harder, I hadn't worked any more time, I hadn't worked any overtime. I don't get overtime, and all of a sudden everything was took care of, and you're like, wow. Well, then you stop and you start to realize why. Because you did what He's taught us to do, and you always made sure that He got first, and then the rest of it was, He took care of it. And when they'll see that. You just got to make sure your faith's where it should be, and you're doing the right thing.
I just tell them about God. When they have crisis in their life, God just comes up, and it's like He gives me things to say, and you even say, "Ooh, where'd that come from?" Because it wasn't me. But I guess it opening my ears and making me more sensitive to the things around me.
I saw my children, which I love them dearly, and I know they're a straight gift from God. I saw them, they would come and they would say, some of their friends, Daddy did this or their mama did this, and I've come to realize that because I don't get that time back, the time that I didn't do for them what I should do, I don't get that back. But that doesn't mean as long as I'm alive, I can't do better to, I'll never make up for it, but I can get better so they don't miss it anymore. And I saw them missing, I think that was God's way of opening my eyes up to say, your children are not getting what they need from you because you're not where you need to be. And I realized that, and Sheila starting to grow, we started to grow together. Because once I saw, the excitement in her from what God was doing in her life, then I wanted that excitement.
He's always been giving. He's the one that always apologized. And honestly, I thought I was always right. And when when there was an argument or disagreement, this is before God he would say, I'm sorry. And I never would. And it never really felt bad that I didn't, because I thought I was right. And I may go 3 or 4 days and still not over it. And he even apologized, the day of. I mean, he could get mad that quick and spout something off, and then he's done. I'm sorry, And in him, I've noticed the change, because he's quick with his mouth, and he's not that way anymore at all. And my kids have noticed that big time. Not that he was mean, but he just, if you were doing something he didn't like, he just told it, didn't care how it came out. But now he's a lot more careful in how he chooses his word to try to direct you in the correct way instead of just blurting it out there.
When you have children, make sure that they're an important enough part of your life that you spend time with them. I had so much worldly stuff going on that I didn't spend the time with my children that I needed to spend. And now I can't get that time back. I can make the best of the time that I do. So I'm making sure that my grandchildren have all my time, that I can give them so they don't miss. And my 2 girls strive for my time now, and I love it. But I realized that because sin in my life was not allowing my prayers to be answered, I had to get that sin out of my life. And when I got that sin out of my life, then the prayers were answered. Well, I realized then you've got to do, He loves us and He'll do anything for us, but we've got to do our part too. Our faith has to be there, and we can't just, believe and have faith in Him when we struggle. It's got to be, our excitement is from Him. Even though maybe we didn't admit it, but we realized that there was something else there that helped us through that wasn't all us.
Once I got in His Word and started listening to God and started depending on God, and things that happened afterwards with the grandkids or whatever, it brought us to our knees so many times, and God was all we felt like we had, and if we didn't have Him, I don't know what we would have done. And I think within itself, for our kids, that's been somewhat of blessings, because when I don't know what else to do, I just say we gotta ask God. We just talk to God, and that's prayer every day. I think what changed once we started getting in the Word was I've noticed small things like the TV. Just like there's things on the TV that we shouldn't, and I would look at Bill and say, okay, you're letting the devil in here, and then he'd just swap the channel. Just small things like that would, my ears were more aware. I felt the Holy Spirit telling me, just making me more aware of my surroundings.
My advice to young couples would be, get yourself right. Make sure you're right with the Lord. Your walk's where it should be. Pray about it. Study this person and find out what this person truly believes, if it's the person you're interested in. There's nobody out there that God can't bring back to Him and change. I don't want to say go find somebody full of the devil and that's who you marry. I don't mean that. But when you come together, you'll never. And I could be completely wrong, but you'll never. We weren't where we should be, and I still believe God put us together. And God's going to put you together, and and then you grow together. But pray about it. Don't let this person, if it's he or she's not exactly where they need to be, you don't give up on them, and you continue doing what you know to do that's right. You continue following God's word. And it'll all come together because He's going to answer our prayers.
I just had this vision come to my mind. There's this mountain, and God's at the top of this mountain, and a marriage is, I may be at the top holding his hand, and I'm helping Bill up the mountain because he's had so much struggles. Then vice versa, he's holding God's hand, and maybe I'm struggling, and He's pulling me up the mountain. That just came to my mind. It's kind of wild, I know. But that's kind of how maybe marriage is. You're together, and as long as you got each other and you rely on God, I mean, we're going to stumble, but yet the other is going to pick us up and help us to what we should be.